Hi guys, IJA here with the second half of the November update, only about 3 weeks late. So in this video we're going to be playing as the IJA against the US, simply because our US MC AI isn't working very well, puts up very little fight. I'm doing this on easy just because if I do it on anything higher, there's a good chance I'll just get overrun quite easily. In this video you're not going to see some of the models and stuff that's been posted on ModDB, such as the AT tracks, stuff like that. Some of the stuff that we have got in isn't in this build, which this is filmed on, simply because I'm having some issues running the latest build that need to be resolved. So these are our 3 tech trees that we currently have. We're pretty firm on these at the moment. Might be some modifications as to 1 or 2 abilities, but as you see here is basically how we plan on having it. So we have home islands on the left, which is basically similar to the allied infantry tree. Sort of the emperors similar to Blitzkrieg, and the Imperial Navy's somewhat similar to airborne. So our home islands tree basically focuses on infantry, elite troops, artillery support, camouflage for all infantry and support units, boosts while fighting in your own territory, all that sort of jazz, extra defences, that sort of stuff to help your infantry basically be able to go toe to toe with other vehicles. So you're essentially infantry main force with very little to no vehicle support. And a howitzer barrage, just so that you have some supportability for emergency situations. So that's sort of the infantry is basically special units all the way. Special tanks and forces basically. Obviously in limited supply, but just to give you a edge on the ground. Example Type 3 Chinu heavy tank. I think fanaticism hasn't changed from the Blitzkrieg, just because that's basically how we want it to work. As your units die, they fight harder. Basically a Blitzkrieg ability. Kamikaze ability you won't see in this video. We still need to get it working properly. At the moment basically all it does is flies in suicides and dive bombs anywhere within half of the map, so it's not very accurate. When it hits it usually takes out anything though. So the Imperial Navy tree, which I'll be using in this video, basically has no support units but has lots of support abilities. Basically variety of bombardments, spotting planes, a strafing run, and my particular favourite, the air raid. The air raid's a very somewhat unique ability in comparison to what you've seen in Company Heroes before. Rather than it's similar to if you took the Henschel raid and mixed with both the strafe and the bombing run. However, the way it differs is basically it will always have 1 machine gun strafe and 1 bomber. Then it will either have an extra machine gun or an extra bomber, depending on what's in the target area. So you see here 2 zeros come in a strafe and 1 drops some bombs. It's not very accurate on the infantry, and this will continue to repeat for a certain amount of time, hence why they're only dropping 1 or 2 bombs each pass. Not exactly accurate on an individual infantry squad, as you can see there, but it's basically designed for obviously raiding large number of forces. Of course you get an extra bomber with the passover from the when there's vehicles in the area, so the effectiveness goes up depending on what you're facing. Strafing run is just a standard strafing run, and the howitzer barrage is a rather heavy barrage. You'll see it later, but we've it's very rough at the moment. We've broken it into a 3-section barrage as you would see coming from a battleship. Basically a barrage of 3, then a pause for reload, and then a second barrage of 3, which is basically how we wanted it, just for the sake of being able to say, yep, I can see how that would have come from a ship rather than a fixed artillery position somewhere else. So the IJA, they have one builder unit at the present. They only have an infantry and a vehicle deployment building. As you can see there, the allies are obviously airborne. It's a bit annoying, killing off my guys in the middle of my base. Okay, so heavy machine gun squad and heavy machine guns in. As long as the US doesn't try to capture it, the game won't crash, which is great. A few minor kinks to work out, obviously, with that. So AT squads at present, AT rifles, 3-man squad, 2 rifles, and 1 with an Arasaka. Basically designed to have an obvious advantage against light vehicles, particularly from cover. When they're out in the open, they're just as screwed as any other infantry unit. But from cover, they become a formidable force. Once we're finished with them, they'll be able to basically disable systems on larger vehicles, tanks and such, to some degree. Whether it's just minor damage to tracks to slow them down so your other tanks get an advantage, that sort of thing. Rather than making them all powerful and able to just obviously just blitz everything and everyone with an army of AT rifles. This infantry squad you see running through the middle here are Ashigaru, or light infantry. Basically just a rifle squad. This next squad you see coming out here are Itohei squad, which is basically standard infantry. I need to add the Type 100 SMGs to that squad. It'll basically be 2 to 3 rifles, and the rest will be Type 100s. We'll have here our Type 97 Chiha rolling out, as well as our AT gun sitting there as well. Type 1, I think. And there's a little Banzai ability there which doesn't quite work properly. As you can see here, it targets, but they sort of do what we want to do. Doesn't work against vehicles properly. Against an infantry squad, they basically attach bayonet, run up to melee range, and the other squad dies. We still need some work to do with that. I'm just going to spam Type 97s here. As you see, the rec doesn't work properly just yet. Simply because Type 97s are my best bet against the US once they start rolling at this point. Just because I don't have those other heavier vehicles in. Snipers are lone snipers, same as the original German US. Get the usual camouflage abilities and whatnot. Just going to start spamming abilities here shortly, just to wrap this up a bit. As you can see, the array works a lot more effectively against larger or stationary targets. And of course, lucky me. Quite lucky that that's a crocodile and not a full-on Sherman. Basically, you see the Type 97s in battle here. At the moment, they're very much the same as a Stuart, in the sense that they can take on these heavier tanks, but they can't do it from the front very well. A tank being a tank, fire doesn't have much effect, so I'm quite lucky. As you can see here, they very slowly can take down a Sherman. Ideally they're for anti-infantry purposes. They're almost equivalent to an armoured car. If they were to, when they're finished, if they were to go toe to toe with a Stuart, for example, the Stuart would have a slight edge, but with infantry support, a Type 97 should be able to best the Stuart any day. I'm just getting lazy and attack moving everything just because it usually works pretty well. And they've got a Sherman rolling out, so I'm going to need... Is arrowed back over here? No. And you'll see our artillery here. 1, 2, 3, and wait for it. 1, 2, 3. And our air raid goes in and flattens what little's left. And so that's the IJA. I'll see about putting some more detailed information on the features section of the ModDB page, just with tech trees, more info in general, so it's a lot easier to read than having to sit there and strain your eyes on a YouTube video. I'll probably put that up before the end of November. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed, and we'll try and get some more work done for you guys to check out.